saw it, right? The pit stop? How am I supposed to deal with that? I know. I want a chance to prove what I can do, though. In a top-tier seat. I deserve it. I've heard there might be interest. I can't stay here. Okay. Well, what would you do?
So, what advice did you give him?
Well, I told him to try to stay calm, see out the season, and then go to the final team meeting. See if that changed his mind.
And where were you at this point?
Oh, I was busy getting Callie ready for the final race of the F2 season.
I know why you're calling, but make it quick, because I have to keep my head in the game.
Of course, darling, but it wouldn't be right if I didn't call to wish you luck.
Thanks, Mum, but luck really won't do anything. I need a clean strategy and just to keep my head, that's all.
Look, which you do, and you will. Just breathe, Cal, okay? You've already put the work in. Now all you need to do is get out there and do what you always do. Yeah?
Yeah, you're right.
Who knows? If you bring this one home, I may even call your father to gloat a little.
Mum, not now.
Oh, I'm just trying to lighten the mood a bit.
I know. You'll be watching, right?
Just try and stop me. Race fast, honey.
The final race of the season now well underway here in Abu Dhabi. A few different drivers in contention for the F2 Championship. But here's the favourite, Callie Mayer.
She's been so consistent this season, so fast. My money's on Mayer for the championship, no question.
If she can finish high enough, the title belongs to her.
Looking good, Callie. Come on, a podium should clinch this for us.
Then podium it is.
job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, push, push. Gap to the car behind. 2.0 seconds. let's go. Final lap. Okay, car behind trailing us, 7.7 seconds. Yes, Callie! That was amazing! Congratulations! You're the champ!
Callie Mayer, get used to the name. She has her whole career ahead of her, and this is just the beginning. She's done it, as many predicted she would. A star is born. Callie Mayer becomes the first woman ever to win the F2 championship.
Historic. Well, I mean, someone had to be the first. But I just hope that this shows that talent can get you as far as money.
And what about your dad? Has he called to congratulate you yet, Callie?
Nope. Next question.
Callie, what's it like being a woman in motorsports? We're sure everyone wants to know.
I don't know, John. What's it like being a man in journalism? Next question.
Hot-headed? Yes, for sure. But you know, that's kind of what you need in a driver. Let's not forget that Callie taking the championship was a big deal. You know, for the sport, but really for everyone.
And for you? How did you feel?
It was one of the proudest moments of my career. It was the first time I mentored anyone. Yeah. I was a little sad to be moving on.
So, had you already told Callie about your new job?
Yes, of course. And I told her, you know, how I wished that I could take her with me. But she understood.
And Aidan, had you told him?
No, he was too busy.
Busy?
Preparing to tell the team that he was leaving Connorsport.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. I know Aidan had something he wanted to say, but first I have a matter I would like to address formally. It is no secret that I have been spread a little thin this season. I mean, I own the team, I run the team, it's a lot, okay? Which is why I will be stepping away from the principal role next season. I'll still be pushing Connorsport Racing to be the brand we know it can be, whilst the new principal will be laser-focused on performance and results. And we have already found a man to step into that role. Casper.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, this is a big step up for me. I'm really looking forward to see what next season brings. It's truly an honor to be on board.
I am sorry for the dramatic nature of the announcement, okay? Humor the man who pays you. We all look forward to working with Casper, yes? Good. Then let us continue. Aiden, you had something you wanted to say? The floor is yours.
No, it's nothing. I just wanted to say, thank you, everybody, for all your hard work this year. And I'm really looking forward to next season, especially with Casper at the helm.
Did Casper being around affect you going into the 23 season?
I have bigger things going on than Casper.
Do you have any regrets about 2023? Anything you'd have done differently?
No, I'm in a good place now. Besides, what's to regret about being the story of the season? Dad!
Devon.
How's business?
Same as ever, hiring and firing. How's racing?
Oh, you know, ducking and driving.
You all prepared?
Of course, I've double-checked the strategy changes. I'm just going over my notes now. Everything's covered, just like always. They won't see me for dust.
Spoken like a true butler. Just remember, we've got a lot on the line this season.
Yeah, I know.
Dev, I'm serious. You're carrying this team, don't forget that.
Yeah, well, you keep signing these second-rate drivers. I can't do all the work.
Just remember where we'd be. Where you'd be if this were all to go belly up.
Just trust me, Dad. You've got nothing to worry about.
Devon, I mean it. If you don't bring your A game, it's back to the bottom of the pile. Do you really want that?
No. No, I don't.
Just keep it in mind. Now go out there and show me what you can do.
Already on it. I'll get you those points, Dad.
Boy. Speak later.
It's race day and our drivers are all out on the grid performing their final checks before we get underway here at the Bahrain International Circuit. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Russell, Perez, Hamilton, Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Norris, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Butler, Jackson, Gasly, Tsunoda, Bottas, Sargent, Joe, Magnussen, De Vries, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. 2023 Bahrain. We're about to get going, and I hope you've enjoyed the build-up just as much as we have. The teams are ready on the grid. They're ready in the garages too, but in the commentary box alongside me, are you ready, Ant?
Of course I'm ready, Crofty. New season, new challenges for all of them out there, drivers and teams. I love this part of the year, Crofty. This is where it really kicks off, and you get to showcase all that hard work you've done through the winter months. Does it pay off?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? What does the 2023 season have in store for us? We're about to find out.
Okay, Devon, it's a brand new season, you know that, so let's start it as we mean to go on, okay? Okay? Okay, good work. Great pass. DRS now available. That move was illegal, I'm afraid, mate. Return the position, give it back. Okay, we're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 9.3 seconds. Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push. Okay, go, go, go. That stop wasn't great. We've lost some time there. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. Nice move, good job. Aiden's in the pits. Aiden in the pits. The car ahead of you's just fitted the hard tyres. Car ahead now on the hard compound. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 4.5 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind is 20.7 seconds. amount of time to the car behind. Let's keep pushing. And that's just 5 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, this is your final lap of the race. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Meanwhile, plenty of surprises in the midfield. So where do we start, Ant?
Well, I think we have to look at Connor Sport. For me, they've been the biggest surprise so far, and Butler, he's doing fantastically well.
Thing is, though, they've got to sustain that over the course of the whole season, and that is easier said than done. Certainly one Casper Ackermann will be hoping that this season is better than his last. Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
What a start to the season, Devon. You must be happy with that performance.
Yeah, putting a real shift out there today, Natalie, and pleased to see it pay off, absolutely. Look, I have to secure my reputation as one of the all-time greats, Natalie. You know, every race counts. I've got no time to lose.
Well, you've had your share of run-ins in the past with teammate Aiden Jackson. Crucial question is that behind you? How do you feel about him right now?
Ah, listen, Aiden is the greatest F1 driver of all time. You ask him, he'll tell you. What, you think I've got an attitude problem? Aiden has got stealth ego, let me tell you. You don't know it's there, and then it emerges. He's a handful. Trust me.
Well, Connor Sport surprised everyone by appointing Casper.
I think he's going to do a terrific job, you know? Mainly because he's got me on his team, so he can't go too far wrong. Now, I'm sure he's incredibly thankful to have me as a driver.
Well, you're embarking on a new year, but what would a successful season look like for you in 2023?
I'm making it my personal mission to make a success of Connor Sport, and by the end of the season, you're all going to be saying what a wonderful team we are and how great a season we've had. And if you're doing that, then I'll consider it a job well done.
Thank you so much for your time.
Great race out there today, just in the highlights. Listen, I know we've had our run-ins and, well, last season was last season. A fresh start for the team. What do you say?
Huh, Jackson. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Bin's over there. Yeah. Nice one.
How about the season just gone?
The 2023 season was completely different for Connor Sport.
How so?
But the car, for one. We'd ironed out the most critical issues, and it was just starting to live up to its potential.
Can we talk about what happened with Devon?
Yeah, what is it?
Now that's how a butler takes care of business.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Carrying the team, Devon, as well as the butler name. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it went well.
Well, I can't wait to hear what those clowns Ackerman and Connor have to say.
Yeah.
Hmm? You okay, Devon?
What? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm, just adrenaline, Dad. I really pushed it out there today, you know, I just need to simmer down a bit.
Of course you do. Let's talk later. I'll be in meetings, but call me whenever you like. I'm proud of your son. Let's just make sure today's result isn't just a one-off. Eh?
Yeah. All right. Ciao.
Here comes Butler. Good pace here down the straight. Into the corner we go. That's a little too late, and he nearly goes off the track on the exit. And is that a lapse in concentration?
I think just a little bit of desperate driving there, Crofty. He's pushing way too hard. I mean, there's nobody else around him at this stage.
Okay, Devon, we're going to have to ease off from the brakes. Brakes don't feel right. Okay, we'll have a look at it, but you're going to see a drop-off in performance, I'm afraid. What? Why? We've asked you to take it easy on the last lap, but pushing has made the issue even worse. So we're just going to have to live with it for now. What are you talking about? Listen, just do what you can, please, Devon. Come on. at Valtteri. If he goes for the overtake, try not to take each other off. Good job, nice overtake. Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining, 5 laps of fuel left. Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining. Come on, you can win that place back. Gap to your teammate ahead is 10.8 seconds. final lap of the race. Final lap. And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Look, this isn't the first time we've seen Devon Butler go rogue, but the question is, what are Connor Sport going to do about it?
Well, it's really hard, as we've seen so many times before, Crofty, in the past. So hard to control your drivers. In a way, they're their own entity, but on the top of it, they're working for the team, and that's what you want. Very hard situation to manage.
And working for the team, Casper Ackermann wanted to make a clean break for this year. This does feel, though, that it's something that they might have had to have dealt with last season.
It's really not what they wanted. A repeat of what happened in the past, and you cannot let it go on. It can't continue. They're just damaging the reputation of the team and their own reputation as well. They have to sort it out. I'm sure they'll be having words.
So it's all changed here in Australia, and as the teams acclimatised to their new standings, so will we. Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
About what happened today, everyone would inevitably draw comparisons.
Look, anything I say is going to be taken out of context. So I'd rather not fuel that kind of speculation. I'll debrief the team, and we'll figure out how we can stop it happening again. That's all there is to it.
Devon, you finished the race with a compromised car today. What was that like for you?
I did what I could in the circumstances, but you know what? I really need a car that I can push without worrying that I'm going to break something. So if the team can't give me a car like that, what am I supposed to do?
Now, some have been saying that you do get preferential treatment because your father funds the team. What?
That always strikes me as really odd, like as if the only reason that I'm fast on the track is because my dad funds the team. You know, how is that an explanation? It's ridiculous.
So how do you expect Connor Sport to perform this season, based on your performance so far?
They got me, haven't they? So, yeah, I expect us to do pretty well. If they can sort out the car this time around, I'll get them all the points their little hearts desire.
Thank you so much for your time.
Could you take a look at this, please?
You nip this in the bud, Cass. Do you hear me?
Andreo.
Butler, what was that out there today? I will not have a return to last season. We are a team. He cannot be allowed to do just what he wants.
Just calm down, I have it under control.
Oh, this is Devon we're talking about. There is no control. He nearly lost the car, Casper.
But he didn't. You know what it gets like out there. I'm sure there's an explanation.
Or an excuse.
And we'll find out. I'll be racing it at the debrief, okay? So I'll report back to you.
Okay, hang on. Look, I've got to go. I've got Davidoff on the other line.
Of course you have. Enjoy. No, it's a big deal when one of your drivers decides to do their own thing. So I called him out on it at the next team meeting.
And what was Devon's reaction?
Well, he denied the whole thing. Blamed it on a comms fail.
Which I thought was strange. The same thing happened the year before when I was principal, and he gave the exact same excuse.
Yeah?
You wanted to see me?
There he is. You're a difficult man to pin down. Right, I'll cut right to the chase, Devon. Tell me what's happening.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's not just disregarding team orders. Paddock talks. People are saying you've been distracted, that you're ignoring them completely. Now, my job is to make sure the team works smoothly, like clockwork, so I'm just trying to work out what's going on.
I told you, check the comms.
Yeah, the comms are fine, Devon. We checked. What's going on?
Nothing.
Just cut that out. Show me some respect now.
Okay. I heard the order. All right? You happy?
Why ignore it?
I'm feeling it, Cass. The pressure, paddock gossip these last couple of months.
Oh, come on. You're Devon Butler. You are the paddock gossip.
You've heard what they're saying, right? You've seen what they're writing. Driving on Daddy's money. It's making me second-guess myself.
Okay. We can work through that. Start changing the team narrative.
Absolutely.
But in the meantime, I'd like you to see someone from the medical team. Just to be sure. I've booked you in for this afternoon.
No, Cass. Look, I've got a race to prep for, okay? I need my head in the game. I'm fine.
I get that. That's fine. But I want you to see them straight after the race. Understood?
Yeah. Fine.
Devon, is everything all right?
Fine. Fine. Just leave me to it, yeah?
Brilliant, nice move. Keep going. Currently trailing our teammate by 17.9 seconds. Okay, gap to the car behind. 6.3 seconds.
Devon, do you push him?
Devon Butler now. Oh, that's not good! Oh no! Devon Butler spins! He's out!
Oh, he just misjudges it and clips the curb. What a mess!
Devon Butler, with that move, is out of the race. He won't want to see that too many times. We want to see him out of the car, though. That's good news.
Big relief there, although he does still look a bit unsteady on his feet, Crofty.
Well, thumbs up to the crowd, but I'd imagine after that, he'll be quite shaken.
Hey.
Done, Casper. I'm done.
It's okay. It's okay. It was his hearing. He'd been keeping it from us. I think maybe he'd been trying to keep it from himself. I mean, he was at the height of his career. Yeah, what can you say?
How did you feel?
I was devastated. But, 5 years in F1. Can't argue with that. I mean, most people never even get the chance, so... And I was still one of the best while I was out there. You ask anyone.
How did you feel when Devon left?
How did I feel?
But if we are going to hit our targets, we need another driver. A permanent one. And fast.
But we are mid-season. It's impossible.
So, given the circumstances, do you think you can grant us a bit of leeway on the contract?
I have the projections. If Connorsport doesn't reach 5th place in the Constructors this season, the returns simply aren't worth my time. That was always the deal. And it still is.
But with a little extra time, perhaps we...
Stop! The deal stands. And without Devon driving, there's now little of interest for me beyond the contract. It's just business.
There must be something we can do.
So, legacy is obviously important to you, Davidoff. As a father, I totally get that. So if Devon, your son, can't drive, how about your daughter? Why don't we give the seat to Callie?
No. California will not be signed to Connorsport.
Why not? Just think of the commercial opportunities for the team that signs her, Forget legacy. Oh, you'd be making history.
And you'll be giving a phenomenal talent her first break into F1. It's the right thing to do. Come on, you know she deserves it.
The daughter who took her mother's name to spite me. Nah, she'll never say yes.
Why don't you leave that to me?
Contract still stands, Ackerman. 5th place, or I'm out next season.
One problem at a time, eh?
Hey, we need your input on this one.
Andrea?
Have you spoken to her yet?
Yes, we've spoken.
And what did you say?
She'll be around this weekend. She agreed to come and see me.
You mean you haven't asked her yet?
Of course not. It's a delicate situation. I'm sure she has an idea, but... look, it's not just something you casually ask over the phone, is it?
Why not?
Come on. This is potentially life-changing for her. And the whole family situation needs to be handled with a little, care and respect.
Well, you're the one that knows her. Just make sure she says yes and fast. I'm finding it difficult to keep fielding questions about the future of Conesport.
Yeah, I read part of that interview. Could almost feel you squirm.
That bad, huh?
Worse. Look, I'll call you as soon as I know.
It's race day here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, a track that's certainly seen a fair share of electrifying races over the past few years, and there are no doubts that today's race will be just as brilliant. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Norris, Hamilton, Gasly, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Joe, Sargent, Bottas, Jackson, Magnussen, Ocon, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Stroll, Albon and Noah Bell. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Welcome to the wonderful Catalunya. It's time for the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend, and whilst the season is just a few races old, it's already been one full of drama. So Natalie Pinkham, who have you got your eye on this weekend?
Well, in Formula One, naturally, the conversation is drawn towards those at the top of the standings, both drivers and teams. But I'm really intrigued by the midfield team of Conesport. Devon Butler's absence will definitely be felt. There's no doubt about that, both on and off the track. For me, the interesting thing will be how they move forward without him.
Indeed, almost as many battles off the track as there are on it for Conesport at the moment. Casper Ackerman and his team certainly have their work cut out for them this weekend.
I know it's been a mad few weeks, mate, but you've always gone well here, so let's get your head down and see what we can do. Come on. work, mate. That brings you up a place. DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. Okay, you're in the top 10. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 5.2 seconds. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 2.3 seconds. Okay, this is Mark. I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards are going to give you a penalty. Car ahead is increasing by a few tenths per lap. Get your head down. the pit window if you're going to be on mediums. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 3.3 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind is 13.6 seconds. Now we're boxing this lap. Okay, so the gap to the car ahead, 2.9 seconds. Go, go! Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Noah's coming in for his stop now. Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy. Job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. And gap to the car in front is 1.5 seconds. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 28.7 seconds. 5 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, mate, this is the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Jackson propping up Connor Sport here today. But the big news off the track is the speculation about this team and whether or not they'll see out the season with their current lineup.
Well, I think they'll have to sign a new driver, Crofty. It's a gamble worth taking.
Well, a mid-season signing would get us all talking, I'm sure, but time will tell. Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Well, Connor Sport are in a bit of an odd situation right now. So, just tell me, what is it like for you today?
Yeah. Well, you know, that side of things, that's not really my job. I wish Devon well, but it doesn't really matter to me who the other driver is, so I'm out there to drive the car as best as I can, and that's all there is to it. Everything else is for Casper and the team to worry about.
Most importantly, how is Devon? And how are you finding it without your teammate?
Yeah, I know as much as everybody else, so, you know, I saw what happened. Obviously very worried for him, and as is everybody else, and, you know, I know he's not fit to drive for us right now. As far as I know, he's working super hard to return to the sport, and, yeah, I wish him well.
Well, there's a lot of talk about what happens if Devon doesn't return. Would Connor...
To be honest, I think we can get by without him. I'm going to be giving it everything I've got this season. Our reserve Noah, he's finally got a chance to get some races under his belt. We can handle it.
Well, thank you for chatting with us. Great to have your time.
Hey, Casper, you wanted to speak to me?
Yes, I did.
Shoot.
Nothing major, really. To be honest, I just wanted to thank you.
Oh. What for? I'm, you know, just doing my job.
No, it's more than that. Well, I know why you stayed on the team. And, well, I won't lie to you, it's not been easy.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah, but you really stepped up. It's good for me to know that I've got someone like you to rely on.
Always.
Yeah. Look, Aiden, I'll warn you, things may not get any easier, at least not for a while, but, well, we've got something in the pipeline, a potential new driver, and a damn good one.
Who is it?
I can't say, not yet. It's a bit of a gamble, but if they agree, we could have something special.
Nice. And, how is Devon?
Fine. I think... I'm not sure. I mean, Davidoff has closed the door on that one, but... Yeah, he tells me Devon is in a good place, though.
Oh, that's good, that's good.
Just keep doing what you're doing, okay? And now, just get out of here.
Of course. I'll catch you later, Casper.
Hey, boss, got a couple of minutes?
Why are you hesitating? You've always dreamt of racing in F1.
Not like this. Do you know what he did?
Oh, your father?
He refused to support me. Said he'd only fund one of his children. Said Devon had better prospects.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Mum used the divorce settlement to help me out, but... And you're only here because he sent you.
No. This was my idea, my decision. And this is me asking you, Callie, not your father. We need a replacement and I ask for you because I know how good you are. And that's the truth.
I always said I'd do it on my terms, not his.
I'll look out for you. Just like I did in F2.
Will you keep him away from me?
I'll do everything in my power. Everything. To make sure that all you have to think about is driving. Have we got a deal? You might never get this opportunity again. You know that.
Could you take a look at this, please?
Davidov.
They stopped me entering the garage just because Callie's in there. It's ridiculous.
We've had this conversation. You need to give her space.
I'll humour you for now, Ackerman, but I don't like being told where I can and can't go around here. Don't forget, you talked me into this.
What does that mean? Talked you into what?
Signing Callie in the first place. I'm just allowing you to take credit for it, that's all.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to blame me.
Well, if you're right about it, there'll be no blame to allocate, will there?
Anything else?
You're a busy man. I'll let you go.
Hey, we need your input on this one.
History is made here today as Callie Mayer, Connor Sport's latest signing, becomes the first female driver of the modern era to participate in an F1 race.
What a moment! I've got goosebumps. Now, for those of you wondering at home, Only a handful of women have entered at least one Grand Prix over the years, but none have even had the opportunity to qualify since 1992. Italy's Giovanna Amati, for those of you wondering. So today is very much a new dawn here in Baku.
And Maya was impressive in qualifying, so let's see what the Grand Prix has in store for her.
Yeah, I have to say, it is quite a tight-knit pack out there. Fierce competition all round. I really wouldn't want to call this one.
Indeed. We've seen some brilliant driving here today, especially from young Callie Mayer. She seems to have made the transition to F1 as if she was born for it.
Okay, Callie, really good start. Keep it up.
I'm not finished yet.
Nice move. Good job. Okay, Callie, really good start. Keep it up.
I'm not finished yet.
Okay, mate, that was an illegal manoeuvre. You've got to cede that position or we'll receive a penalty. Okay, Callie, really good start. Keep it up.
I'm not finished yet.
Here comes Callie Mayer, closing in on her teammates.
She's practically on top of me. Aiden, calm down. You're on different strategies. Just let Callie pass. Okay, Callie. Aiden's going to let you pass at the next corner. Let's go.
Copy.
Will Mayer get past her teammate now? Here she comes. But there's contact. Contact between the two Connor Sport drivers. Jackson's out. He gets the worst of it. Mayer's clear.
Oh, Jackson's damage looks bad. I think you're right, Crofty. His race is over.
Mayer seemed to catch Jackson unawares, though. I'm not sure why.
What was that? Why didn't she wait for me to move over on the exit? Okay, Aiden, are you all right? It's just another butler.
I thought he was letting me through.
Yeah, I know, Callie. I'm sorry about that, but it's happened now. It's over. Let's get your head down and focus. Come on. We'll talk about it later.
Copy.
Okay, good work. Great pass. Okay, gap ahead is 2.8 seconds. fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. The gap between you and the car behind is increasing by a significant amount each lap. Good job. Need to slow down before hitting the corners. We don't want to get a penalty. Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left. Our gap to the car in front is 7.0 seconds. We're leading the car behind by 4.4 seconds. got 4 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your head down and let's get it done. Okay, clear. You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up. Brilliant, nice move. Keep going. Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps. Job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Well, in spite of the drama amongst those at the top of the standings, so much of the discussion today has centred around Connor Sport.
Absolutely. A bittersweet race for them today. One historic debut, one DNF. I mean, you couldn't write it.
And talking of that debut, what did you make of Callie Mayer's first ever start?
Well, I am so excited to see Callie racing in F1. It is great for the sport. She is a phenomenal talent. I can't wait to see what the season holds and her career as a whole.
And if today is anything to go by, the name, Callie Mayer, is one that we'll be watching with a lot of interest for many years to come. And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
And do you feel extra pressure at Connor Sport? Must be difficult with your dad looking over your shoulder.
Look, it's F1. It's not possible for me to feel any more pressure than I already do. So no, it's not an issue.
Callie, have you felt any pushback from anyone in the F1 world, just with you being the first female driver in the sport?
No, everyone's been amazing. And I'm not the first, I'm just the latest.
How's your brother? Are you really just keeping his seat warm?
You'd have to ask him that. But he is getting the help that he needs. And no, I have no intention of giving up this seat.
What happened out there between you and Aiden today?
It's just a mix-up. I thought he was letting me through on the entry, but he clearly had other
We
ideas.
spoke to him earlier, and he said it was deliberate on your part. Any comment on that?
It was just a misunderstanding.
You've always gone by Mayor, and now you're in a team financed by your father, driving in your brother's seat. Would you go back to the Butler name?
Should have expected it, right?
I thought you did.
It's not what I mean. I mean, I'm a woman, I get it. I'm happy to talk about it.
Then what is it?
Well, it's always the same, isn't it? So you're a woman, and then every question about Dad, about Devon, about the Butler name.
Just forget about it.
Oh, I can never get away from it, can I? The only question about the race was about Aiden.
Well, you know, maybe if we'd let it run a little longer, there would have been...
Casper? Don't defend them.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry.
Look, it's fine. I'll be faster next time.
The incident at Baku, do you think she did it on purpose?
She did do it on purpose. Yeah. Check the footage.
So you didn't warm to her?
We weren't the best of friends. No.
Hey, Mum.
Callie, I couldn't be prouder, darling. Well done.
Oh, thanks, Mum. It was a good race. Felt great out there.
Oh, it was a good race.
Oh, no, what is it?
What do you mean, what is it? What's what?
I can hear it in your voice, Mum. It was a good race.
No, it's nothing.
Go on.
No, it's just that... You didn't do it on purpose, did you? When you clipped poor Aiden.
I can't believe you're even asking me. Did you really raise your daughter to behave like that?
Well, I'm really not sure.
It was an accident, Mum. I'm hanging up.
Oh, of course it was. Bye, darling. Lots of love.
Andrea?
You seen this latest article doing the rounds today? 3 weeks later and the press are still going this narrative of the rivalry at Connorsport. Still!
They just need an angle for Silverstone. Paid no attention.
But they're right, aren't they? It's not like Callie and Aiden are suddenly treating each other like teammates.
They just need time. It took me a while to warm to Aiden back in the day.
Well, that's because you were a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Well, some things never change, I guess.
Ha! Now you're just grumpier and older. I'll leave you to it. Ciao.
Bye.
What is Aiden's problem?
Okay, we'll have a word.
He's been so late into these corners. I have no space out here.
Yeah, we'll talk to him, Kelly.
This is still about Bakker, isn't it?
If you continue to cut corners, the stewards are going to give you a penalty. Be careful. Okay, we'll have a word.
He's been so late into these corners. I have no space out here.
Yeah, we'll talk to him, Kelly.
This is still about Baku, isn't it?
Great manoeuvre. You made it look so easy. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 2.9 seconds. That's just 5 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 6.8 seconds. Okay, you've got 4 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
You see, this is just another example of the Connosport drivers antagonising each other.
Yeah, but you've got to look at Ackerman as well. He's the one that can sort this situation out, and so far, he's letting them run wild.
His job is to keep control, and no matter what the season, no matter what the driver, Connosport just can't seem to gel as a team. So you've got to ask the question, really, what will it take? After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Callie, this is your first ever F1 race at Silverstone in front of the home fans. So just try to put into words what that means to you.
Yeah, I mean, just to see the number of fans cheering for me really spurred me on today, and I used to come here as a little girl to watch the races, so it really means everything. It's a dream come true, to be honest.
Well, I have to say, it was tight out there once again between you and Aiden. You're not giving each other much space.
Look, Aiden's got to drive as he sees fit, and he feels the need to put his performance first, and that's his call. It's not like it's the first time we've seen a driver prioritise themselves ahead of the team, is it?
Now, naturally, there has been a lot of speculation about the role of your father, Davidoff Butler, in securing your seat at Connosport. Just what do you say to the critics?
Sure, I mean, if my father wasn't involved at Connosport, maybe they'd have signed someone else. That's just the reality of the sport sometimes.
Well, thank you for chatting with us. Great to have your time.
Hi, Mum.
Callie?
You saw the interview.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And?
Look, there are times when a mother needs to be firm, and this is one of them.
But you're normally so timid.
Listen to me, Callie. You did win that seat on your own merits. I don't want people to think you're only there because of your father. That's just not true.
It's a bit true, though, isn't it? I don't want to look like an idiot.
Well, if not Connosport, it would have been another team.
But it was Connosport.
Don't undersell yourself. This is one of those very rare occasions when you could take a leaf out of Devon's book.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd ever go that far.
He certainly knows how to sell himself.
Yeah, Devon's Devon, all right? I've got stuff to do, Mum.
I'll leave you to it. Lots of love.